All right, welcome to Queer Comics. It is Thursday. It is Andrew Johnston. This week is a very special week on Queer Comics because we are dedicating this week to a friend of the show, Andrew Henderson, who is dealing with a terminal lymphomic cancer right now. Not cute is what that means. He's needed to undergo a bone marrow transplant, which is not, from what I've been told, an uninvasive procedure, and is dealing with the very imminent possibility of his mortality. And just please go and watch his interview with Vicki Lix that was on the top of this week for more information in that regard. We are discussing our bucket lists this week, and after watching that, I've got to tell you that got real. That got real for me. So I'm not feeling especially snarky this evening, today, whatever you're watching this, but I record this in the evenings, like late evenings, night in the black of night. So I never really thought to formulate my bucket list. I always thought that was something that would come later in life, like perhaps at the age that Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman were in the feature film The Bucket List. But in the case of our friend Andrew Henderson, it is very clear that tomorrow is not guaranteed. It is not guaranteed. And that is something that we all take for granted, most of all me, in any event. And I should point out that Andrew Henderson has a GoFundMe set up right now. The link is right underneath this video. Is right. Go fund him, please, so that he can go and travel and see the sights and see the world before mortality is reached. I don't know. I don't know if that's condescending for me to say if. I mean, I'm fully there to be like, let's recognize our mortality. Let's recognize when a spade is a spade, whatever. I think that I'd be the same way, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, but what I probably would not do is travel. I really don't care for traveling. That's not on my bucket list. Anyway, here are the things that are on my bucket list. Here, what I was able to sort of formulate from my bucket list. I feel so terrible because it's just like, okay, well, no, this really should just be all about like you going and visiting his GoFundMe account and doing this for someone who just like the lightning bolt that is cancer struck him, that can strike any of us, and thereby by the grace of God go all of us. But this is the theme this week, so I'm gonna go ahead with it, and I don't mean any. I'm gonna try to not be snarky. All right, so I don't particularly care for traveling. I don't particularly care for, I guess, material things, as this fucking like animal print $10 T-shirt from H&M might imply. What was I thinking? What am I thinking? But here's my bucket list. Number 1, see Salt and Peppa and En Vogue in the winter of their careers for a $20 ticket this coming Sunday. Oh, check. Doing it. Phew. I got a Groupon. Number 2, skydive. I guess. Isn't that like everyone says that basically? But I guess I kind of would like to, like, that's kind of, it's cliche. It's like the bridal party wearing the dick tiaras or whatever. But yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'll be terrified. I will literally spew excrement all the way down to the ground. But number 3, I would like to meet and befriend Jennifer Lawrence. Number 1, I like her and I think that we would be friends. But mainly to communicate to her that the masterwork of her lifetime will be to star in the Elaine Stritch biopic. I really do feel firmly that, I think I'm the only one who really has this vision, and I need to communicate it to Jennifer Lawrence that really, no. Like, yeah, sure, won the Oscar for Silver Linings, great, Hunger Games, that franchise. And apparently David O. Russell's Joy, where, at 23 years old, she plays someone in her mid-30s. Oh, wonderful. Oh, all this is great. But no, really, your potential will be realized, Jennifer Lawrence, when you star as Elaine Stritch. Because here's the thing, Jennifer Lawrence looks like a young Elaine Stritch, sounds like a young Elaine Stritch, and Elaine Stritch lived a life. This is a good idea, Jennifer Lawrence. Elaine Stritch biopic. Get that. That should be on her bucket list, but it's also on mine to communicate that to her. But I will someday. I did just talk about not traveling. I do kind of want to go, and I've always had this in my head. I'd like to visit the Pacific Northwest, specifically San Francisco and Portland. Specifically before, I don't know if you read that article, but before the big one hits, because there's this fault line that has just been building pressure for the last 200 years, and they've tracked geological sort of like charts for the last like millennia, and there's been this pressure that builds up on this fault that every 200 years or so just completely devastates, just eradicates the West Coast, and there's also been like native folklore about this, like various tribes along the Pacific Northwest have been like, and then one day, oh my, that's not my impression of like a native tribe, but they're like one day this village and everyone we do there just they were no more, and it completely because of this. So it is coming. It is like 30 years what they compute to be overdue, and so I'm probably never going to go, because here's my thing, until kind of it happened. Well, I'm not going to go like after it happens. I'm not like a disaster tourist, but also I'm not going to go before that, because my luck, it would happen when I'm there. Speaking about just going different places, something that is quite in earnest on my bucket list is to move to the States at some point. And that is certainly coming for me right now. I do intend to move to the States and give her a go. I'm going to give her a go. I'm going to go for broke down there. I'm going to go for broke. I'm going to dance like no one's watching. And you know what? If it all craps out and I find myself seated under an overpass smoking my last rolled cigarette, much like the beginning of Eileen Wuornos in the movie Monster, well, I'm going to end my personal narrative like that movie by going on a killing spree of whoever was desperate enough to hire me as a prostitute. And then maybe fucking someday, I don't know, Nick Jonas can ugly himself up and play me in a biopic. Everyone wins. The last thing on my bucket list, the last sort of topic with bullet points on my bucket list would be, quite simply, to have success of something I am proud of with a critical mass. To do something that makes people feel something and lasts. To be recognized and thus live forever, because it is certainly not going to be from any fucking children that I sire. I would just love to once do something that people would consider overrated. Like rise up in ire and say, oh, this is just everywhere. He's overrated. I would kill to be considered overrated at some point, instead of being the person who deems everything overrated, because that's where I'm at right now. So we'll see. At least I have one of those things checked off. Salt and Pepper on Vogue this Sunday. It's gonna be fun. Please go and donate to Andrew Henderson's GoFundMe. The link is in the description of this video right now. And don't take any fucking day for granted. I certainly won't after hearing his story. I really won't, and I promise you that. So thank you very much, Andrew Henderson, for your support of the channel, and thank you everyone for watching. Thank you very much. All right, bye. Girl power.